Hello, happy Tuesday night, everybody. So we welcome our guest here from Penn National, Ricardo Chiappe, and our HRT host and a regular on the Horse Center, Swiss Army Shawn. How you doing, Shawn?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to talking to Ricardo here.
Ricardo, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, thank you.
I was going to start off, and ask you, you came from Peru, and you were a jockey down there, and you did some different things. Take us through that a little bit on how you got your start in horse racing in Peru, and then how you decided to come to the States.
Well, I started when I was very young, and my mom was a friend of an owner. And then one night she went out with the owner and several people, and then in the middle of the conversation, the guy mentioned that he was an owner, he owns horses, and then my mom told him that she got a son, me, that love horses, and then the guy told her, yeah, I can go to pick your son up tomorrow and show him my horses. So the day after that was Sunday, and I was waiting for him all day long and never came. So Monday I have to go to the school, and I was thinking, well, if he's a gentleman, he's gonna go home Monday, and I'm gonna tell my mom, sorry, I couldn't go, and I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna tell her I'm sick, and I'm gonna stay home. So that day she told me to go to the school, and I told her, oh, I'm sick, I don't feel good. So I stayed home, and the guy came over around noon, and my mom told him, oh, my son is here. He didn't go to the school, and then he told her, oh, we can take it to a racetrack, the racetrack in Peru. So they took me, and I was walking his horses, and I love it. And then he told me, oh, if you wanna come back tomorrow or the next morning to gallop to walk horses, you can do it. So after that, I was going to the racetrack every morning, every morning till I went to the jockey school for like a year and a half, and then I became a jockey.
Okay. So that's kind of interesting that you kind of how you got into the jockey business is you were cutting school, I guess, and went to the racetrack. Um, that's pretty interesting. So I guess my question would be another question I would have is, how many racetracks are in Peru? How popular is horse racing in Peru as a whole?
There used to be three, but nowadays it's just that we have just two
Okay.
racetracks.
Where are they?
One is in the capital, Lima. The racetrack name is Monterrico,
Hmm.
and the other one is in Arequipa. It's a city from Peru, and the name of the racetrack is Porongoche.
Are they big racetracks? Like if you were to compare them to racetracks in the States, what would you say they comparative?
Mm, we are not as competitive as you guys over here, but the one in Lima, the capital, is South America is one of the best racetracks.
Okay. So you work. How old were you first off when you started training and
I,
exercising horses?
I just turned 16.
Okay.
Yeah, I just turned 16, so I have to leave the my school because my school was like a morning hours from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And then to be at the racetrack in the mornings jockey school, I have to go early, so I just changed to the racetrack school. They have a school there, so I just moved there, and I was there from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And I get back home around like 10, 11 p.m. to wake up in the morning around 3 a.m. in the morning. I used to walk like 10 blocks from my house to the bus station to get to the bus, and then 2 hours and a half in the bus to the racetrack. Go to the racetrack, get on horses, and then after getting on horses, we went to a jockey school. We got like a psychiatrist that teach us how to handle the profession, and then a teacher that made us do exercise, and then after that we go to the school from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. and then I have to get on the bus for another 2.5 hours and get home at like it's really late, like
It's a
really
long
late.
that's like to
Oh
say
yeah.
that's a very long day at the end of
Oh
the
yeah.
day.
And
Very
was
long day.
was was like that like six days a week. So
Wow.
but I love it, so I don't regret that. I love it. I enjoy it every day.
Okay.
Now, is the rest of your family over in Peru yet? I know your sister Bruno has messaged the page. She should be watching.
Yes, my mom, she's a American citizen. She comes here and goes Peru vacation. My younger brother, he's in California, and my older brother, he's in Peru. My dad was here 2 years ago, but he went back to Peru.
Do
And I got,
any
yeah, I
any
got
of
some
them
more
into the
family.
horse racing?
No, my uncle used to have horses in Peru. He owned horses, but I was really little when that happened. I was like pretty much a baby. But besides that, my dad used to go to the racetrack to bet on horses, but that's it.
One other thing I read about you was you had a hard time getting a schedule that was fitting with different tracks. So now that you're at Penn National, how's that schedule going?
Well, I was riding at Delaware, and then after Delaware was over, I used to go to Lotto Park, Maryland, and parks. And sometimes, if I have to ship horses to ride here, I used to come to Penn National. But I never thought about coming to ride to Penn National. But the last 2 years ago, my wife, Brittany Scampton, she was riding. She was a bad girl, so she came to Penn National. She was doing good, and then I don't like the long distance relationship, so I miss her a lot, and she missed me too. So I decided to come to Penn National and stay here. So here I am.
What do you like and don't like about Penn National so far?
Night racing.
But I was going to say that. So they had the 2:00 p.m. Eastern time during the Triple Crown, and you really enjoyed that because Kentucky Derby week you won one, Preakness you won two, and then this past Saturday for the Belmont you won four.
Yes, I got a good day, and I really like it. I really enjoy it. I'm getting used to it now to ride at night, but I love daylight races.
So why do you like the daylight? I believe when I was at the track about a month ago too, you said you love the heat.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I
What do
mean,
you
I,
love?
I'm trying to get used to it to the winter here because it's cold, but I really like the hot weather because my country is like a tropical weather, so I'm used to that kind of weather.
He likes it hot. Um, Ricardo, when you were back in Peru and you were starting out, how long was it before you actually raced in an official race?
I was like around 2 years. Yes,
Do you
two. No,
remember your?
sorry, three years. 3 years.
It was about 3 years. So you're about 19 years old.
Yeah, around that age. Yeah, started riding as a back boy, and I did really good. I was a leading back boy in my country on my promotion at that year, and then I became a jockey, and I had some accidents. I finally have to decide if I was gonna keep riding or retire. So I retired for a pretty good time, and then I was working at a company, and I never thought I was gonna go back to ride horses. So my mother, Lucia del Pilar, she was the one that came home and told me, Ricky, you have to quit working. I said, why? You're gonna go to USA to ride horses? I said, Mom, what are you talking about? So she was talking to a lawyer to trying to work my visa as a jockey to come to this country, and she finally got it. And then when she got the visa, she just told me, quit your job, and I came to this country, 2003.
Your mom sounds like a great woman. She's the one that got you into horse racing to do it to begin with, and she's the one that got you to the United States. It's fantastic.
Yes, she never gave up on me.
That's great. That's great to hear. What was it that finally got you to come to the States and want to do it? Because you got hurt. You weren't riding. You just said. What decided all of a sudden that, hey, I want to go do this in the United States where it's probably even more competitive?
That's what I like it because it's very competitive, and I always dream to meet Edgar Prado. And I always, when I was in the jockey school in Peru or riding Peru, everybody was telling me, "Oh, look at Prado, he's winning, like he's a top jockey in USA," and it was like a dream for me to meet him. And now we became friends, and we always joke around. And I came to this country like expecting to try to be one of the best jockeys, and try really hard, really, really, really good jockeys around here. And but I like the competition.
Now Prado is a Hall of Famer, and he's got to be a legend over in Peru. Have you ever raced against him?
Yes, I did. He came to Delaware. I guess was a stake week, and he came to Delaware, and I rode with him. But I rode more Lotto Park. He was riding there sometime, and then I went there. He was really tough to beat him. Tough jockey, really smart.
Absolutely.
Besides Prado, is there any other jockeys that kind of took you under your wing and really helped you?
Yeah, when I came to this country, I was living at my friend Manuel Aguilar. He was one of the top jockeys in Calder Racecourse, so he took me under his wings. I was in his house. He even borrowed me his car, and he took care of me. And I'm really grateful about that. I really owe Manuel a lot of his help.
Did he kind of follow you to Penn National, because he was gone for a little bit and now he's doing well at Penn National as well?
He quit for a while, yeah, and he decided to come to Penn National. Haven't asked him the reason why. Maybe he might have some personal reason. Anyways, but he came here and now he's showing who he is. He always been a top jockey in my country. He won like so many stakes. Like he was a top jockey and always nice guy. Always respectful to everybody. Always a nice guy.
Absolutely.
Now, when you came here, the first track I think you went to is you went to Parks. Was it called Parks when you went there, or was it called Philadelphia
It
Park?
would have been called Philly.
Philly
At
Park.
the time was Philadelphia. Yeah, Philly Park.
It was Philly Park. So, what was that experience going from Peru and then going right to Philadelphia, the core of the city, and riding there?
And when I came to this country, I came to Calder, and then a year and a half after that, I went to Delaware, and then right after that to Philadelphia.
Okay.
It was a really strong, really tough track. Good jockeys. You have to work really hard. Well, every racetrack you have to work hard, but I enjoyed Parks, but I love Delaware. I fell in love with Delaware. I like the racetrack. The backside is beautiful. The people is nice people. But I mean, all the racetracks I've been riding, I like all of them. But I stay with Delaware Park.
It's funny you say that because actually last summer I took a trip out there and I saw Delaware Park, and there's a lot of things that actually remind me of the backside. It reminds me of Saratoga. It just, I was surprised at how beautiful that track was at the end of the day. It was a really nice looking place.
It is beautiful racetrack. It is beautiful, and now it's getting better. The money is better because the track, the owner Rickman sold the racetrack, and now these new owners are like investing some money in that racetrack, and it's doing really good. I really like it. The only thing that I don't like, that I used to ride a lot of Arabians. They don't have Arabian races anymore. I used to ride like, was every day the last race at Delaware Park to ride Arabians. I used to win, and I like it too. I lot of Arabian races.
What was your secret on the Arabian horses?
It's not secret. It's like they go so slow that you got more time to think of what you're gonna do.
That's funny because some jockeys would say that's the problem with them, is they have too much time to think, but you actually want that.
Oh yeah, and you get really tired too. They keep you fit.
Are you trying to travel a little bit at all? I see you have about 4 mounts out of town this year. So far.
Yeah, I went to Delaware. I went to Parks. I went to Loro, but I'm the kind of person that, or jockey, that wherever I'm riding, I like to stay there. I don't like to move too much. Even when I was riding at Delaware, when I got my agent Thomas Steve, I remember he used to make me go to Parks, Loro, like Penn National, all over the place. And I was like, at the beginning, I was like, wow, I was so tired, but then I started liking it. But now that I'm 44 years old, I'm more like concentrating one racetrack at a time.
Okay. Did you do you watch the Triple Crown races, and did you watch Penn? I know you weren't on the schedule for Penn Mile Day. Did you watch the Penn Mile?
Hell yeah, I saw that race. Tyler Connor won. What a jockey! He's a really good jockey, really nice person. It was a beautiful race that he won. He won 2 stakes that night.
Yeah,
both were one shot.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. The thing I wanted to ask is, and I didn't ask Kevin Radke from out in Emerald Downs was on our show last night, and one thing I didn't ask him, I'm really curious on how you prepare for a race, Ricardo. Like, how much handicapping comes into play? What do you do the night before? What happens the night before? Can you kind of talk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, when I get home, the days that I'm not riding, I got my scale. I check my weight, and then I walk around with my dogs just to lose a little weight. Thanks God, I don't have to take care about food. I can eat normal, like a human being. And then I kind of do exercise for like half an hour just to keep myself fit. And then I don't like to study too much the races like days before the race, because it kind of stress me out a little bit. And I'm kind of an overthinker person. I like to think a lot, so I try to just keep myself calm. And then the day before the race is just eat the program, read as much as I can. The other horses, my horse, the competition, the trainers, and that helped me a lot to when I go to ride that day after.
We get different answers from jockeys. Are you one that you strictly listen to the trainer if they give you advice, or if you have a feel and you get a different break, you kind of throw those instructions out and you go with your gut?
when the trainer is giving instruction, it's like I read a program first of all, and I got kind of good experience riding horses. But I like to hear what they want to tell me how to ride a horse, and I just compare with what I think how to ride a horse, and then just pretty much I do how I feel the race is gonna go and what the horse is giving me, and then that's how I do it. Of course, I listen to the instructions, but sometimes the race is a different story. Coming out of the gate, you don't know what's gonna happen. Probably the trainer told you go in front, but you broke last. Then you have to use a little bit experience and know how to ride a horse and what position put it, or if you start riding him early or late, or you have to use your mind a little bit.
What do you think your biggest strength as a jockey is right now?
I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question.
Well, you're hitting in the money. You're over 64%. So 2 out of every 3 races, you're in the money.
I like to, even the horse is 20-1, 30-1. I give my best effort. I mean, it's not a long shot horse for me. It's what I learned since I was in Peru, and friends like Edgar Prado taught me that. Manuel Aguilar taught me that you never give up on any horse, because every horse give you the best they can. Not all the horses have the class that big horses, but they give you the best they can. Owners, they spend money on them. The trainers train the horses every day for you to give your best effort. So it's what I do. Every single horse, I ride the best I can.
When you have your horses, if you had a preference though, would you prefer to have? And I'm big into pace, and this is why I asked this question, Ricardo. Are you more? Would you, as a jockey, rather have an speed, an early speed horse, or would you rather have a late speed horse?
I like to ride a horses that like to run at the middle of the pack, because I can see, and if the pace is fast or not, then I can hold my horse and let the fast horses go and kill themselves, and then I can start using my horse, and it's easier and better for me that kind of pressure, being in the middle of the pack than being in front. Because sometimes you're in front and then you're holding a horse too much, or you look behind to see the horse outside you, and then you got another horse inside you, and he's gonna pass you. And it happened to me not too long ago, riding 14 crazy. I was riding the horse in the lead, and then I was worried about my horse inside at a turn around the 3/8, and then I turned to my left to look my horse inside, and then I didn't see the horse right outside me, and the horse passed me and beat me in the race for like not even half a length. And then Tim Chrysler told me, what, you have to, when you're riding, you have to be ready for horses coming in, outside, in front, behind. You have to be awake. And he gave me good advices. Tim Chrysler or Rob Johnson, they are good people. They worry for the jockeys, not the kind of trainers that whatever, what, you didn't ride good, I'm gonna put another jockey. No, they know that you work hard, and they try to help you.
Now, when you say inside and outside, are you seeing them, or are you more hearing them and feeling them?
I've been riding quite a while, so I feel them, but like that's why I like daytime races, because you can see the shadows coming closer and closer. You don't have to turn your head back to see the whole horse, but you can see shadows. That's what I do. I see the shadows on my left, my right, and it's how can I start riding my horse. I see when the shadows start getting closer to me. I know the horse is getting closer, so I use my horse earlier to just keep the distance between me and the ones behind me.
So that's one part. I was going to ask you, what's the difference? What are you riding? How are you riding differently in the day than you are at night, or is it just you're feeling better during the day?
Yeah, I feel more comfortable in the day. I like it because it's warmer. I can lose more weight easier, and then I like it's more like I don't know. It's more exciting for me riding daylight races. I mean,
And the
nighttime
other,
races. I like nighttime races too, but it reminds me more when I was in Peru. In my country, we got kind of the same hours of riding like Penn National, and it was just kind of like at some point I guess was getting tired of that night racing. And when I came here, I started riding at Delaware, Parks, Loro, and then I was like so happy daytime races. And I came to Penn National. I mean, I like it too, but I like more the daytime races.
the other question is, and I know Tyler got fined for the whip rule during the Penn Mile. What do you think about the 6-strike whip, and also how hard is that when you're coming down the stretch, especially like in Tyler's case, you're going for that $500,000 purse. What do you do?
That happened to me not too long ago. I was riding a horse for Team Chrysler, and then and it was Tyler Connor inside me, sorry. And then we were head to head, and I didn't count my weight, how many times I whipped the horse, and I ended up hitting the horse on the shoulder, and I was on my 7 whip. I hit my horse 7 times, and the last time I hit a horse was on the shoulder. And then I beat the Tyler for half a head. And then I came back to the jockey's room, and then the stewards told me, "Oh, Ricky, you hit a horse 7 times." And then we got movies to see the replay of the races. The day after, I told the stewards, the problem is like the adrenaline is there, so you are fighting to win the race. You want to keep the owners happy, the trainer happy, so you are not counting 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on, how many times I hit a horse? So just escape your mind. So I understand it's a rule 6 times, but it should just help the jockeys with like, okay, you hit the horse 7 times, you know what? Don't do it again. If you do it again, you know what? It's another warning. But more than anything, like Manuel Aguilar told me the other day, you know what? The rule should apply if you are riding last and you hit the horse like 7, 8 times and you ain't gonna change your position, then you gotta be fine. But if you're fighting the race or fighting the position, the first, second, third, I mean, they should be more flexible with us, like give us like maybe a couple more hits, something like that to help us. And that same time, if you don't hit a horse like 6 times, 7 times, and you get beat on the wire, you probably lose the mount because the owner is not gonna be happy, and then it might be the probability of taking off of the mount. So it should be like more flexible. Plus, the new whips with the new kind of poppers is not as hard as the old whips. So they should contemplate the idea too of let us hit more the horse with that kind of whip.
Yeah, I like that idea too. With if you're fighting for a position, because really I think that's why the rule was kind of made. Is you see these horses, second last, and the jockey's still going to town on the horse, and it's just, even though it's not really hurting the horse, it's bad for the outlook on it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I agree with that.
That looked really bad. But like I said, that was an idea that Manuel Aguilar told me, and I thought about that when he told me that, and he is very right about that. Like you say, if you are not fighting for a position and you know you're gonna finish last or second to last, what's the point of using the whip on that kind of horse? You better save your horse, and you're gonna make look good, because nowadays it's a lot of people that think that we jockeys are overheating the horses. We treat the horses bad. We don't respect the horse, but they don't understand our position. They are not in our shoes to see what's going on.
Ricardo, if you could change anything about horse racing, what would you change?
I would like see more horses having fun. I mean, like horses spend 23 hours a day inside the stall. It's like being in jail, and it should be like a rule, like every horse at least have like a document saying that it being on the farm like for 1 month, like vacation for the horses. Like every horse should be like any time of the month, any day, for at least 1 month a year, the horse has to be at the farm, and that's the only way they should run. Like having a month off or 2 months off, they need time off like us. They have to carry our weight. They have to do something that they don't like to do, because I don't think every horse like to be like at the races, at the racetrack in the morning, inside a stall, like pretty much 24/7. So we should be more like contemplating the idea of give the horse a little break to just relax, to be horse, like run loose for like a month, like just let him be a horse. And that is what I will change that on the races.
I love that. That's a great answer.
Do you feel that a lot in the post parade? If a horse isn't interested, can you really feel that and see that and be like, I don't know what to do, what I'm going to do here?
Sometimes you can feel it when the horse, they don't talk, but they tell you that they're not happy, they don't want to run. Because like when you want to put a saddle on the horse before the race, the horse start kicking, rear up. They don't want to be there. Or when you go to the gate, the horse is just backing up, rearing up. He don't want to get into the gate. So that's when you kind of realize that the horse might be tired, or might be he just don't wanna do it. And then when you are running, you can tell the horse is just not giving you his best effort. So that's how you realize that the horse wasn't ready to run or didn't want to run.
What have you done with HISA, and what do you think of HISA?
Excuse me?
What do you the new regulations, this HISA for July 1st, where you have to sign up and stuff, and there's all these new rules? Have you done anything with that? Do you know anything about it, and what do you think about it?
Yeah, Dana Winnie was telling us about that, and then all about the regulations, and we as jockeys from Penn National, we might have a meeting to just discuss what's gonna help us or what's gonna be bad for us or what's gonna be good for the horses. So we are like contemplating the idea of get together and see if we like or is gonna help us those new rules and things that are coming soon.
Ricardo, the other thing I was doing is, so when I did a Google search, and I love Google, and thank goodness for the internet and
Mhm.
what we're looking at and everything, I actually came across a site I'd never seen before, and actually had some statistics. Now, I'm just curious if you like. I can't remember what I did yesterday at noontime, but do you like remember things like, who was the first horse you rode in the United States? Who was your first win on? Do you remember all that stuff?
The first horse and first win that I had in this country was an Arabian. I remember my friend Tejera, Edward Tejera. He was jockey at Delaware riding a lot of Arabians. So he told me, Ricky, how about if you get your license as a jockey and ride some Arabians that I can ride? So I was galloping at that moment for Anthony Dotro, and then I was thinking, I haven't ride for like quite some time, but I'm gonna try. So I went for my license. They approved me for my license, and I remember the week after that, my friend Levante here gave me the horse to ride, the Arabian, and finished third. And I was so tired. So then the next week didn't ride. The next week nothing, like for a month, and then I started riding Arabians more often, and then I win right away, and then I win again, and then the next week I win again, and then I got a guy that he died already told me, hey Rick, I can be your agent, so you can gallop in the morning, and then you can be a jockey after the galloping hours. I said, I started doing like that, and I started doing that, and then I got a after that guy retires as an agent, I got a famous Mario Flower, and he took my book, and we started doing good, and then I got for like a year and a half Steve. I mean, sorry, Thomas Steve. Wow, and he what an agent. Ooh, we won so many races, and that's it. That's how I start riding
Yeah,
again.
it actually had. This is what the internet says anyway. I don't know if you remember this. It says your first win was on a horse at Delaware Park named Bagels and Locks. Is that true?
Yes,
Yep.
like, I totally forgot that name so long ago.
Do
And
you
it
have
also.
a go ahead.
Go ahead, Sean.
Do you have a favorite horse that you've ridden, or a couple favorite horses?
Yes, Cameron Love. That was a filly from Tom Ayanari used to have that filly. That was I won my first claiming 5,000 on the filly, and then she started getting up, and I won a couple of stakes with the filly. I love the filly. She was like, wow. I don't get that attached to horses, but if you're talking about thoroughbreds, the Comet of Love is the one that I like the most. And Arabians, Grilla. I won the biggest stake in Kinland with Grilla. They make one stake 1 year, 100,000 stake for Arabians, and I rode with some good jockeys, and then I won the race. And those are the two horses that I get in my mind all the time.
Sean, we should have a trivia show now with the jockeys. I'm figuring out
There you
because
go.
it actually, this is what the internet says your best horse was, Ricardo. If you're wondering, is a horse named Sunman,
Yes.
and because I guess he had a time form rating of 125. So I don't know if that was you rode him and he got that rating, or he had that before, or what. But according to the internet, the best horse was Sunman, just for trivia purposes.
Yeah, I remember the horse, but like I said again, the one that I kind of don't remember the horse that much, but the one that I will remember till I retire riding is a Grilla and Comet of Love. Pretty much with names, I'm not like that good, but I just remember the ones that got the made me feel different. Like I said again, like Grilla and Comet of Love.
Bagels and Locks. Don't ever forget that name.
I know. I might have that picture in my house.
That's great. Sean, what else you got?
Is that hard? I always vision, I'm an animal person. Is that hard, getting on and off different horses and losing mounts? Like you might ride a horse 10 times and then all of a sudden you're not riding and you're not seeing that horse anymore. Now I know you said you didn't get attached, but that's probably
Yeah,
why.
I mean, you get to like the horses, and every horse had a different personality, and I like how they act. How like I mean, some horses like to rear up before getting to the gate, and it's kind of like emotional. Like I like they see the gate and they get excited. Yeah, I mean like, but I don't get that attached. Like I learned with this time to don't get attached because that they a lot they take you off horses and then you get to miss the horse, so you try to avoid, and at least myself try to avoid to get so attached to the horses, because the day that they take me off, or the horse, something happened to the horse, or they retire the horse, or the horse got an accident racing, and I don't like to have that feeling again that, oh my god, that poor horse. And you know, I try to don't get too attached, just in case.
Now, talking about your career, how much longer do you think you'll be riding?
Ooh, like a good 7-8 years. I mean, I tell my wife every day, okay, 3 more years, and I've been saying that for the past 5 years. So
You got 218 more wins to get to 1,000. You know, get there?
Yeah, I do. I will. I mean, like, I never have that as a limit. I never thought about even winning 500 races, because, like I said again, when I came to this country, I thought I was gonna be an exercise rider, because I retired, I quit in my country, but I started riding, and I never goes like, oh, I'm winning this match. I don't stress myself. Oh, you have 200 races, and then you retire. You quit. If they come, they come. I just trying to keep myself healthy and happy.
Any other tracks on the radar to check out and race at before your career's done?
I would like to go back to Delaware someday, because it's just like home for me. You know, when I start, and I got most of my winners at Delaware, and it's a beautiful race. Like I said, the backside is like really really nice. It's a lot of green. I just love it. You know, it's like home for me.
I checked out the schedule. You have some big match races this Friday at Penn National. Do you have any horses that we should pay attention to either that day or this weekend that you really feel live on?
It's a one for Rob Johnson, and the ones that always give me a lot of confidence I mean, all of them, all the trainers at Penn National are tough guys. They always go to win. But I like when I ride for Team Chrysler.
My question is, you got the most well-behaved kids on the planet, because that little guy behind you is like being so patient.
Yeah, that's my son Lane. He lives in Tampa. He has come to visit me summer vacations. He don't wanna be a jockey. Every time I ask him, he also have a farm in Tampa, and he has some horses. But he don't wanna be a jockey. I guess he's smart.
Yeah, I grew up with horses too, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I'd want anything to do with taking care of horses.
Yeah, it's just, for me, it's my life. Like, if I this time of my life I retire riding horses, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, like, that's my love, that's my blood, horses. So it's a lot of work. It's like, you don't eat for some days. You gotta lose weight. You gotta go to the hot box and lose 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds. And it's like, it's a hard life. It's beautiful life, but it's a hard life. And for my son, I want to be like, have a career where he can one day say, you know what, that I retire and live with that. So I mean, he don't want to be a jockey. I respect his decision. I mean, I would love him to be a jockey, because if after I'm done, I don't know who's gonna wants to be a jockey of my family. So, but like I said again, I respect his decision. He wants to be a professional, have a regular career. So I respect his decision.
My last question then is: you say that about this is your after you're done riding. Any thoughts of being a trainer, jockey agent, steward, anything in horse racing?
Brittany, my wife, and I, we were talking about that, and she's training for Hugh McMahon. She's helping for him, and at the same time, is learning how to be an assistant. He wants to be assistant for him, but he also told me that he don't wanna just get the assistant career, assistant position as a career. She wants to go higher and higher. She always looking for more. She don't get settled with what she had, and I like that, because that give me a lot of confidence in myself, make me work harder. And yeah, why not? Me and her be a trainer. It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. She teach me a lot, because I don't know that much about horses than she does. But we are good couples, and she teach me a lot, and I take whatever she gives me. So it'll be awesome if we end up one day being trainers and do good.
Awesome.
Well, Ricardo, we appreciate you coming on. I know we probably took you a little over than we probably committed to, but you're a great interview, and it was very nice to talk to you. You're actually making me. I want to go back to Penn National again. We went there last year, just so I can see you now and see you in action. But we really do appreciate your time and you coming on and sharing your stories and everything else. We wish you nothing but the best.
Thanks
No,
for coming.
I want to thank you guys because I didn't know that it was people that wants to make me an interview. Like I didn't know that people want to know about me. So I just see myself being just a jockey. Like nobody knows me out of a track, like that kind of person, like. But it really, thank you very much for the interview. I really, really, really appreciate it, and made me feel really good.
That's the part of our show. We're trying to, actually, not to say it live on the air with Penn National, but Penn National is one of my local tracks, Penn National Delaware Parks. I would love, as our website and stuff, to do more with the tracks. To, all you guys are great personalities. I mean, I met you at the track, nice as can be. And there's not enough on you guys. You guys are just the jockeys. And I'll tell you what, when I was a kid and I read the form, I only saw names. I didn't even know, because of social media and stuff, you didn't even know faces. Now we're in 2022. We can definitely enhance that and make you guys more than just a jockey.
Yeah, exactly. I like what you're doing, what you guys doing, because people, especially the ones the fan or the people that go bet on horses, sometimes they don't have respect for us because they think we fix races and this and that. And it's a good way for them to let us know that the way they can see who we are, and then change the way they think about jockeys. They think we are like a midgets, get on a horse and that's it. We are human beings, and we love horses. That's why we do that, and they have to respect more that. And this is the good way to let us know to the people, you with people like you guys.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll keep an eye on you at Penn National, and hopefully you continue success for you. Thank you, Ricardo.
I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was a quick outro at the end of the day.
Yeah, you made me the big head right like Rich does right away.
Yeah, he does. He does. But all right, just getting used to these controls at the end of the day. I made you the big head, Shawn. I got you. I got you over. I'm figuring out all these controls now. I'm gonna look out. I don't know if I'm a subject matter expert. I always, what? I wish I could be a jockey. You say this a lot, and you and Rich talked to a lot of these guys a lot more obviously than I have. But it's amazing that when you get talking to these guys, how genuine they are, and they're just really good people, and they want to talk. And if you think about it, and I think you say this a lot too, if this was the NBA finals or anything else, we're not going to be able to connect with the star of the show and get Steph Curry on here. Yet we can do that. And these guys are so humble with what they do, and I think that's really special about this sport at the end of the day, and what draws me in.
Yeah, and that's what needs to get more fans in, is we need to know the jockeys. We need to know these people. Like I said, it's 2022. You got the social media. You got everything else. Now they're more than just a jockey. I mean, they've always been more than a jockey. You just haven't had the opportunity to see them. And honestly, I wish when I was a kid, I'd go to the track, a handful of times a year. I saw people yell at jockeys. I never really saw them have too many conversations, and I was the shy kid that never really wanted to go up. Now I wish, as a kid, and when I see kids at the track, I try to tell them, hey, this is different than a football game, a baseball game. You can go up to these guys and talk to them, and they will give you the time of the day. I can't tell you, when I was at Penn National a couple weeks ago, Irad and Flavian, man, they had people all over, and they didn't have the time, but they did take pictures when they could. They took 1 or 2 pictures. They signed what they could. So, I mean, they're all class acts and professional, and they get their job done, and they also do what they got to do with the fans, and they appreciate it too.
It's just a really good story. But the closest I will ever be to a jockey, or being a jockey, I was thinking about this. This is what happens to me. I'm not sure if anybody else out there has this thing, but when you're driving on the highway and somebody's in the fast lane, but they're really going slow, and you go to the right-hand side and you pass somebody on the right-hand side, I always think about, man, I would be a good jockey at the end of the day.
Yeah, you closed, right? This is a crazy story, but when I was a kid, I didn't understand why horses gain so much at the end. So me and my brother would have bike races, and I always liked the horses that closed at the end. So I would leave my brother, even though we're only racing, 1,000 feet or whatever, I would leave him get a head start so I could come closing. Well, it didn't work because my brother wasn't tired for that 1,000 feet race, but it's what I wanted to do. I I like the horse at Penn National. I wrote an article about this when we were horse racing radar, Regal Peace. It was just a horse that always came at the end. And it's just awesome to watch. I put that question out before on, what's more fun to watch, a Jockey's Warrior type of horse or Bleecker Street. And they're both awesome, but there's nothing like a horse in the back that is coming at the end just to get them in time, like a Zenyatta.
Easy answer for me too. I mean, you think about the turf races. I love turf races, and I love it when there's a hot pace anticipated and the stalker comes from 4 miles back and goes around everybody. That to me is like the ultimate in horse racing. That's what really gets my gets my blood going. So that's good stuff. So let's talk about I'm going to change your name from Swiss Army Shawn to start the conversation, Shawn. We got to figure out a new nickname, but you do such a good job at what you're doing and everything.
Well, no. That was your question.
Now you put it on social media, so I always want to talk about betting and all that stuff anyway. But you asked a very good question today about what are your thoughts on playing the place and show wagers, and do you ever bet this way, and is it profitable? Now, I personally haven't gone in for a couple months and looked at my betting. That's what I like about the ADWs. Is I can go in and I can look at it and see what's going on. But, I saw some of the comments and what's going on. And I think there was a little bit of all around the board on this topic. But where do you stand on this, Shawn?
So I've done the place and show wager, but really it's not a smart wager. I've done it because, okay, maybe I have $30 that day. And then you kind of get this comfort that, you know what, I don't have to pick the horse to win. I can get the horse third. And as long as I keep doing that, I'll be okay. But it's a bad wager. So use an example, Penn Mile Day, when Tyler Connor won with Whoa, What a Summer. He paid $168 to win. You play that horse to show, you get a Weasley $12. Now, that horse, so if you do this, if that horse is in a race 10 times and you play Wow, What a Summer 10 times to show, you get $120, so you get a $100 profit. It only takes one time for Wow, What a Summer to win for you to be over that. So I think it's a comfort thing with people with the place in the show. And I think here's another theory that I just, I thought of a couple hours before the show. I think we do it backwards. We want to play the long prices for place and show, but look at the difference between $12 and $168. What about that 9-5 favorite that's going to pay $560 to win, but what, $340 to place maybe? You're only losing $2. I think I'd almost rather do it that way than do it with the long shot, because if you put $2 on Wow, What a Summer to show, you're not happy with that $12. I can tell you that. Because if you would have put that $2 to win, you would have got $168.
And I saw a lot of the comments on Twitter though today, and a lot of the comments were, well, place and show bets are probably more for, maybe a new bettor, somebody that's not used, you go to the tracks and you see the casual fans, and I'm not against it or anything, but you see a lot of people will play show tickets. And I think that rush of just picking a winner and being able to cash that ticket is a big deal. So I can definitely see a place for it there, but from a ROI standpoint, it's off on my table. I crossed the show bet completely off. I don't want to say I crossed the place bet off. I don't use the place bet very often because there has to be a special circumstance. I've got to feel that the favorite is vulnerable and is probably going to finish out of the money, finish out of the top two, obviously. And the other thing I'll do too is, and I do this a lot when I go and I use the ADWs that I do. And, it's so easy on your iPad to pull up the pools and look at the percentages. And when you see the percentages there, that's what people complain about with a computer betting with what you're doing. And what the computers do is they don't really bet on the horses. They bet on the opportunities in the pools. So when you see a horse, and this happens from time to time, you'll see a horse is taken 40% of the money in the win pool, and you'll see they're taking 40% or somewhere's around there in the show pool, and you'll see that they're only taking 35% in the place pool. That's an opportunity that you want to grab and you want to gravitate to. From a place betting, that would probably be the only time that I would make a place bet. And then the other side of this too is I learned probably a couple years ago, I was one of those win play show bettors. One of the things I learned a couple years ago is take your key horse, and my key horse is typically 4-1 or higher. Take that horse and play it to win, and then take a cheap exacta and take the two on the top of the tote board, the two favorites, 1, 2, and play your horse in second. Because if you hit that, it's going to pay a heck of a lot more if that horse comes in second than if you just did the place. And a lot of people just think that if a horse is 4-1, it pays $10, then the place is going to pay $5. That's not how it works. A lot of times you'll have a horse that pays $10 to win, and it may only pay $4 or $3.80 to place. So that's what you're going to be thinking about too with the pools. And I know I get pretty excited about this topic because that's the stuff that really gets my blood going here. But I love talking about betting and everything going on. But I think you brought up a really good question today, Shawn.
No, that was thanks to you. We talked about it yesterday, and I figured, okay, well, we'll talk about it today, so we'll get people started on it. Yeah, I just think too, if you think a horse is gonna get first and second instead of playing to win the place, you can always wheel them in an exacta too. And if you catch a price in that wheel, you're making it out a lot better than now. This is all subject to how much you're betting. If you're trying to bet $1,000 on a horse to win in place, then yeah, obviously the wheel thing doesn't work. I mean, I guess it still could. You could still divvy it out. So I think it matters too on how big of a bettor you are, how much you're betting. But by no means would I don't care if I had the money, I would never put $1,000 on a horse to show to win 220 back. It's just a dangerous thing to do, because if you're doing that for the long haul, you're going to lose one or two of those bets and you're never going to make that money up doing it. So yeah.
Do you remember that?
Something I would do.
Do you remember when Arrogate had that big win over in Dubai, the one they made the pictures about and they show the clips of, and I think it's even been made into like a little mini movie. When he came back to the States, and I think it was Santa Anita, it might have been Del Mar, but I think it was California. He came back from Dubai, and I remember somebody made like some crazy show bet on Arrogate to show, thinking that they're going to get 10% back or whatever. And I'll never forget this because it wasn't going to pay anything because there was so much money in the show pool, and somebody just put like $1 million or something on him. And Arrogate, we all know what happened. He didn't even finish on the money. And I can remember all those other horses, what they paid the show. It was something amazing to see that day. But yeah, I'm out on the show bet. Place bet sometimes.
Well,
but
that's another thing. How frustrating is that when you have a horse in a win or place, and because of the pool, like something like Arrogate doesn't finish in the show, and these people that place the show are getting paid more than you. Those situations, yeah, you're a little mad about it, and you go, yeah, I wish I did play the show wager.
Yeah, but sometimes the mental part of this game is a big deal too, about, cashing a bet, and somebody, if I hit the win and I hit the place too, people don't understand sometimes though, that if you took that money from the place bet and you put it on the win bet, I know you're going to lose sometimes. That just goes with the territory. But at the end of the day, you'll still get out further ahead than if you did the place. So
I saw some people had, whoa, what a summer across the board. Imagine if you just put $6 on that horse to win. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, sure, you got $27 for place and $12 for show, but $168 to win. There's such a difference from that win pool to place to show that, yeah, I mean, you should just play to win, because if you're not, then you got to be just as good. If you're playing a horse to place, you don't want that horse to win. You want that horse to place. If you place in the horse to show, you want that horse to finish third. Yes, you'll still cash a ticket if you finish second or first, but you don't want it because you're going to miss out on that money. So you have to be just as good to say this horse is going to finish third as you do to say this horse is going to finish first.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess we're on the same page about that part of it. And I think a lot of the comments were, yeah, I play the places if there's a discrepancy in the pool. I get it. But I think being a new bettor, I wish somebody had told me that like 10 years ago and saying, this is how you do it and what's going on. And I tell you, the other thing I do with Exact is a little tip for those that stayed on, I guess, here the whole 50 minutes. The other thing that I really key in on Exact is don't forget, when you have a horse that finishes first, typically the second place horse is the opposite pace style. So a lot of people, what I see a lot of dead money on the Exact is where you'll see people that'll bet, in typically 6 furlongs and higher. Very rarely does it happen where you're going to see an E speed horse and an E speed horse finish 1-2. You'd want to play an E and an EP, or an EP and a P, and that's kind of how they connect. And that's kind of how I figure out what I'm going to do. So again, getting back to the conversation, if I'm going to do a place bet and I see the other horse is the opposite pace style, I may be willing to put a little more money on that exacta than if I just did a straight box or something like that. I don't typically box horses.
Yeah, and the other thing with the exacta thing is you never want to do that, especially at tracks like Charlestown and Penn. I play them a lot. They hammer those first two favorites together. If you can do that favorite and the third choice and just do a $10 exacta, $20 exacta, and you think it's going to come in, you get paid okay. Even if it pays, $14, I mean, that's better than some horses to win. So you're okay there. You just have to not like the second choice. But that's another bet that there's no point of playing. There's no point. Small tracks like Penn National and Charlestown, there is no point of playing the favorite over the second choice because you're not gonna get paid.
Yep, absolutely. So a couple bits of news I just was gonna share and we'll talk about. So Shawn, do you remember this from back in March where there was a jockey that came out, and this was in Arizona? I think it was Turf Paradise. Turf Paradise. And the jockey came out, and I think he was a pretty heavy favorite. And what happened is the jockey pulled him up immediately out of the gate and said he hit his shoulder. He was concerned about it. So how do you feel about that? And so basically what they did is they dismissed the case. I know there was some suspensions involved. You have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, these things are so hard to tell because you want the horse safety too. So there's no way to tell for sure what the jockey felt, what actually happened, how the horse is. I know the jockey and trainer are related as well, which makes it even that much more difficult because it would be easier to do something like this. So I really don't know what to make of it, and it's a hard thing to prove. Hopefully nothing fishy went on, but you'll never know. That's all I can really say about it. And people with the complaining about this stuff doesn't happen as much as people think. And when it does, you're either on the right side or you're on the wrong side. I think it balances out. And that horse was tons favorite. I mean, that horse you shouldn't have even had a win wager on, but a ton of people did.
I know how social media gets sometimes. I like to always give the benefit of the doubt. I hate to think that would happen. I know that, things happen out there, but I think that give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, everybody's complaining a lot of times. You get a bad ride. I know there's more emotions when you have money invested on it and stuff like that. But I mean, I would hope that something like that wouldn't happen for the good of the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And you don't want something to happen to the horse neither. So if really something was wrong with the horse, it's good that he picked him up. It's just that he was a heavy favorite and it looks really suspicious, and that's why it gets questioned. And there's no way to prove one way or another.
Yeah. And the other thing that I had for news, Shawn, is Tony Zhu. I don't know if you ever heard of Tony Zhu. Tony is one of those guys, and they had the Belmont Stakes Challenge this weekend, and I think he won, what was it? He won $52,000. I think he went home with $85,000. That's a pretty good day. That's a pretty good chunk of change. But if you don't know about Tony's really special, and I've never met him. I've never talked to him. Probably like to get him on one of the shows one of these days. But Tony actually he doesn't do a lot of handicapping. He does a lot of stuff with computers and based on trends and things are going, and he's consistently at the top of a lot of these leaderboards at the end of the day. So do you know about Tony? Have you heard about his style and what he does?
Not until you sent me this article, and I saw that he finished second and third the 2 years prior. And to correct you there, he did 85,000 in prize money, but then he also had the live money that he won off of, which was another 52,000. So he went home with over $138,000. So yeah, we didn't have a good Belmont Stakes day, but Tony Zhu did.
Yes, sir, he did. Listen, I give nothing but love to these guys about what they do, and Tony Zhu is one of those guys that he's always the top of all these tournaments, these big money things. If you remember the old show Horse Players back in the day, and Christian Helmers, he's another one. He knows how to manage money and he knows how to do things. These guys are really smart guys, and it goes beyond just being a horse player at the end of the day. So I'm very intrigued by what they do, but shout out to them because they do this consistently day in and day out.
Yeah. It's a different thing to, it's different than just betting when you're doing these tournaments and stuff. So it's a different strategy. You gotta not only be good at betting, but you got to be good in the tournaments. And obviously Tony Zhu is very good at it, and he finally got over the hump. He was third going into like the last 2 races, so he probably was thinking he may be going down the same path of second and third and just couldn't get over the hump, but he did it with Mo Dangle.
One of these days, I'll finish in the top of one of these tournaments when Rich gives me some of his math formulas and secrets and some of that stuff, strategy.
There you go. Well, if he gives you the secret, he'll give us all the secret, and we'll all be there.
I hear you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I hear you at the end of the day. All right. Charles is hitting pick 3s, pick 4s, and pick 5s. So I agree with you. I mean, I think that's a good way to do it, especially if you have favorite. But I think that's probably a whole nother topic that we could spend an hour and a half on at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I've gotten into the pick 4 thing, a pick 5 thing occasionally, but I got to be really confident on a horse or two. And it's usually a heavy favorite, which doesn't help you. Then you got to hit somewhere else. The problem with that too, and I heard somebody say this on social media it's kind of the same as a place and show wager, because I thought about this. It kind of gives you that confidence. Like I can look at a race, and if you give me 4 horses out of those 8, I'm going to go, well, there's no way I can lose. I got half this field here. And then you know what happens after that. It comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's the 4 horses that you don't have. But before the race, you're like, man, there's no way. If it's a speed, I got the horse covered. If it's a closure, I got this horse. If it's you think you got all your bases covered there too. And a lot of times you still somehow lose.
Yep. So what else, Shawn? Anything else you want to share?
No, I think I was glad to have Ricardo on. You again did a fantastic job. Now you got the StreamYard. Now you're dangerous with this StreamYard. So I'll watch out tomorrow. And then tomorrow we have Gerald Delp on. He was a trainer. His father was a trainer. His father was a trainer of Spectacular Bid. So there's a lot to talk about there. So
yeah, one of the things I'll end the show with. The first thing is I just wanted to share. Everybody knows, I hope, that the Horse Racing Today website. This is a really good website, and I just think of my situation and what's going on and how this is a community. And what I really enjoy about everybody on this team is you're very positive about horse racing. And this is a great way. And this is what we're all about here at HRT. And, if you're wondering where I'm pulling these stories from and what we just talked about, it's all right here for you. This is actually one of my one-stop shops. Every morning I'll go here and I'll check out these links. And I think this is just a fantastic way of doing things. And they got all the links to the videos and everything here. So, share the news about the site and what we're doing here and what's going on, because there's some really good things. And remember, this is a community. And I love the questions here, especially when you get talking about betting. So the other thing I'll just give my own selfless little plug is hopefully starting this week, and I haven't decided yet if it's going to be Thursday or Friday, we're going to start a show off, and it's going to be called Spot Plays. And my vision on this is I want to have a lot of these handicapping conversations. So all of you guys that are out there in HRT land and you've joined the show, I'd ask you guys, I'll send the information out. I'd ask you guys to join in and interact with us and ask some of those questions, and we can bounce off. By no means am I a subject matter expert. I like hearing other people's opinions and ideas and things that I can take and make and become that much better in this whole game. So, with that being said, Shawn, I think we've been going here for 8:59. See how easy this is? We could go for like 2 or 3 hours here. We're having so much fun.
Absolutely could. So to go back on your point, really looking forward to your show. I'll be watching and join the conversation. It's cliche to say power in numbers, but I really think, as we grow as a community and stuff, we can do great things in the sport. We're going to get some pushback for some of the ideas that we come up with. But there's power in numbers, so we can make this sport even better than what it is, and show not even better than what it is. We can show how great this sport is to people that don't know the sport. I mean, I don't know about you guys, and that's what makes this sport great too. I don't have a lot of people that, I go to work, I come home. There's not a lot of people who want to talk horse racing. Most people don't even know where to start with horse racing. So it's always great to, at night have a conversation and talk about what we love, and it's horse racing. So, and what you're bringing up too, we have a lot of great help with jockeys too. I don't even want to name all of them because there's been so many that have supported us and continue to support us. So there's a lot of people inside the game that we owe a lot to too.
Absolutely. And big thanks to Rich because he does so much work. And I know he did a couple of shows today. He's going to be exhausted at the end of the day. But
tomorrow, man, he's got like 20 horse fields.
Yeah. Well, I hope they're doing well at Arroyo Ascot. I was watching a couple of the races today, but it's an interesting thing. But all right, with that being said, I guess we'll wrap the show up. So I hope everybody has a great night, and I hope all your picks end up in the
winner circle.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.